Right, we've got a race start there, a gap on the front row, number 18. Robbie Short doing the swinging for Colin Buckley. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a crash there from number 93, Aaron Lovell and Tracy Bryan. I caught up with them last night after they got out of hospital, and both of them have, both of them have shoulder injuries. Aaron has got a broken collarbone and a few broken ribs in the back, and also Tracy has popped an AC joint, so they are sidelined for the, certainly they're not going to do Timaru, and both carrying injury, both on the same arm as well, and they did that in the Castrol corner. Aaron said he tried another line and had a poke up there, and all of a sudden the back went round and it just went into the gravel and flipped over, and he took the brunt of it with his shoulders, and thankfully the injuries were not more severe, because these things can play for keeps. So it is a shame to see the hard charging number 93 bike sidelined for the season, or maybe come back for Hampton Downs. That's a long way away, but that's up to them. But it'll be a long road to recovery with a broken collarbone and broken ribs as well, and they've got to repair the machine, although it didn't seem to be too much damage there. So a 10-lap race for the sidecars, the East End Liquor bought at the corner of Tay Street and Bamborough, and out in the front there is Colin Buckley and Robbie Short. He got a slow start yesterday. He wasn't too keen on getting off the start. This is fairly hard on the clutch, this machine. Most of these bikes are running wet sumps where the clutch is actually dragging in oil and giving it the lubrication it needs more. Not so much the lubrication, the cooling, but this is a dry sump machine. This is a dry sump machine, which enables them to get a little bit lower in the frame, and also is less oil drag on the crankshaft and all that. But one of the byproducts is the clutch does take a hammering. Second place we've got Spike Taylor from the Wairarapa and Astrid Hartnell from Wanganui doing the swinging, a team that's been together for a number of seasons now. So Astrid started off on the 150 development class, and I remember a bright pink bike, and she was also doing the swinging for Spike Taylor about 5 seasons ago, and enjoyed it so much she sidelined the little 150 and just concentrated on sidecar racing. Astrid Hartnell, her father Nod Hartnell's been around sidecar racing way back from the 70s, and during the 80s he built one of the first what we call long bikes in New Zealand. Worked for Aeroworks in Wanganui, and a keen hard charger and a very good friend of GP racer John Woodley, and certainly addicted to motorcycles is Astrid's father, Nod Hartnell, and hopefully he's watching at home on Ctas and seeing how his daughter and Spike Taylor are doing. The Stealth electric bike, Wairarapa, Mobility Wairarapa sponsored machine, the number 17 machine there in second spot. We go further down to Peak the Pirate on the 111 machine. Now Peak the Pirate had a spin yesterday, and he says it's that bloody camera. Cliff Field from TT Kiwis is following the sidecars and doing a lot of footage on that, and he puts a camera on there, and Pete the Pirate, he's a bit of a gruff man sometimes. He says, no, get that bloody camera off here. I've got the camera curse. You're not putting a camera on my bike again, because every time you seem to put a camera on the bike, I seem to have a bit of bad luck. So he went off the end of the back straight there and straight ahead into the grass and did a bit of a spin, come back and finished yesterday. But that's Pete the Pirate and Matt Gibbs doing the passengering for him. Looking at lap times there, we had a new lap record set in the sidecars, a 105. Wow, look at that, a 105.311 yesterday. We're down into the 1.3s, a 1.3818. They got a new tyre. Tyres are hard to get for sidecars. The tyres they were expecting from the UK didn't turn up, but they got a new tyre and fitted it yesterday. He says, unfortunately, it's a hard compound, and we'll see how it goes. We might have to go back to old tyres, but certainly they peeled over a second, maybe a second and a half off the lap record previously that they set yesterday, 105.311, and it's now down to 103.813. So some people saw what they thought was a controversial pass at the last lap of the sidecar race yesterday. What had happened is Colin Buckley had slowed up, and Spike Taylor had got in behind him, and Colin come along the front straight, thought he'd tuck on the inside to buzz the tower, didn't realise that Spike was on the inside. Spike wasn't that happy about it until a couple of people reminded him that nobody's ever seen Colin Buckley do a dirty move on anybody. He just wasn't aware it was there. It was quite a legal move, it just some people sort of made a bit of a mark on it, but that is a situation. He certainly wasn't trying to shut him out, and didn't need to shut him out, because they've had a clean set of points all the way through. This is the Carl Cox Motorsport sponsored Moto TT TT Kiwi's sponsored machine, the 18 bike of Robbie Shorter from Tauranga, doing the swinging for Colin Buckley. They went to the Isle of Man this year on a different machine, on a 600cc machine. This is the long bike, what you see out here, where the motor is in behind the rider. The 600cc bikes at the Isle of Man are shorter bikes with the rider sitting over the motor. And Colin Buckley had raced there in the 90s and went back again this year. Robbie Shorter had never done the Isle of Man TT until this time, and they got a very creditable 15th in the first race and went all the way up and got 11th place in the second race. So a massive effort, and the fastest anybody's ever been round the Isle of Man TT on a sidecar from New Zealand. So and I believe they are going to go back this year and have another shot at moving. They want to get in the top 10 at the Isle of Man TT, and I've got every confidence that they can do that. So it is good to see. Also, Colin and Robbie took another machine over from New Zealand and did a couple of rounds of the World Superside Championships. They did one in some country I've never heard of, somewhere like Croatia, and also then one in Germany, and I think they finished 8th in the World Championship. 8th. Let's go back to 4th place as well. Alex McDonald from Christchurch with Adrian Gorse doing the passengering. Alex McDonald on the number 14 machine. Another Christchurch pairing, Warwick Dimmicks and Will Climo there. That's the black machine. You'll see there the number 49 machine, and we got a close in there of Alex McDonald closing in on Pete the Pirate on the 111 machine. We see them go into the big sweeper here at Teretonga on the 10-lap sidecar race. They're halfway through, and the lap record hasn't been lowered again. In fact, Colin Buckley slowed to the 108s. He's getting an indication from the pits that he's got enough of a buffer to do the keep his perfect score of points in that. So he's slowed back about 5 seconds after setting a lap record of a 103.813. Spike Taylor's in the 107 mark, so Spike Taylor's actually closing in on Colin Buckley, although there is a 10-second differential between first and second, unlike yesterday where it was a lot tighter. But that dice over at the hairpin between Pete the Pirate and Alex McDonald, there's not even a tyre width in it now. There's not even a tyre width. We're going to see who's got the biggest set of hands coming into the braking at the hairpin. Remember, at the kinked onto the front straight, remember that Pete the Pirate had a spin here yesterday. In fact, Alex McDonald takes it up on the inside and has got the advantage. In fact, he's got the advantage side by side going down the front straight, and Alex tucks it in the front. There's half a bike maybe between them, but Alex McDonald, the 73-year-old from Christchurch with that passenger, you can't even see the passenger on the side of the bike. He's tucked in that lightly. He sits up for the corner and puts his bum out the side to keep that sidecar wheel. You got it. This is a very difficult corner. It's long. It's almost in. It's about 270 degree. Not quite a corkscrew, it is an even radius all the way around, but the grip, they call it Terra Tyre here. The nickname for the tyre of the track is Terra Tyre. I think there's a lot of seashells or something in the asphalt surface, and it's very hard on tyres, so the passenger doesn't want to get out too far, because as he gets further out and tries to keep the sidecar wheel down, the traction disappears on the rear wheel. So it is a bit of a juggling act around that big sweeper, and you can move 3 or 4 times there. You get a bit further out, feel it breaking loose, and then move back in there. But certainly now Alex has got about 150 metres over and above Pete the Pirate on the the MC2XS sponsored machine, and it's really good to see Pete the Pirate dragging in a Ian Burke, I think. There's another gentleman there, I forget his name, but Ian Burke from the Wakatani area, a motorcycle mechanic, and doing machine preparation, and certainly it's paid off big time for Pete the Pirate, who has over some seasons suffered with the mechanical reliability issues, you know, and it's now good to see that the machines are better prepared, and Pete's finishing some races. Had his first ever New Zealand Championship win at Timaru about 3 years ago, and it was great to see Pete the Pirate, who get that monkey off the back after immigrating from the UK about 12 years ago and bringing 2 sidecars. Look at that, Pete's right out in the dirt, the sidecar wheel right out in the dirt. That's not a good thing to do when you're coming into a corner, but it was just before the entry there. Because what happens is you end up locking up that brake, and the rest of the wheels need to do more braking, and you can overrun the corner. That's the line, I think, that Aaron Lovell took yesterday, and it didn't pay off for him. He ended up flipping the bike and sidelining in for the championship. There goes Spike Taylor through there in second place, as disappearing off of the distance is the 18 machine out in the front. They've dropped it, they're still in the 108, so a gap of 6.8 seconds. They were 10 seconds ahead. They'll know that distance is quite safe and all that, and we're 8 laps to go, just 2 laps left in the first sidecar race of the day, and a perfect score so far for Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter. Now, Colin only got dragged into this team last year. Barry Smith was doing the piloting along with Robbie Shorter on the Carl Cox Motorsport. Then it was Kiwi Bike Insurance sponsored machine as well, amongst other sponsors. And unfortunately Barry made a mistake at the one of the tight corners at Ruapuna and flipped the bike upside down and ended up with a broken collarbone, and they decided, well, they've got the machine there, so they rung up Colin Buckley from Auckland, who hadn't raced sidecars since about 2002 actually, 2002. And said, come along, can you do this weekend? And he popped on the bike at Timaru and broke the lap record, and just showed you how much of a natural ability that Colin Buckley has for racing sidecars. And I had the pleasure of passengering for Colin back in 1999. I'd retired from the sport for a few years. He rung me up and he says, do you want to come and pass every weekend? I said, got no race licence. He rung me back an hour later. He says, I've organised all that. Do you want to do it? And I said, well, I can't really turn that down. And he was just such a smooth pilot in that, so much so that I think the season before he had won a New Zealand championship with 5 or 6 different rounds with a different passenger at every meeting. And how good is that? The confidence you need to build in a passenger. It's your life. It's not just a game we're playing, it's your life. You know, everything is pivotal on your team being reliable, safe and trustworthy, and he took out a different passenger at each meeting. But that just shows you how level-headed and calm and cool and collected the man is, and also how smooth he is, where he could bring passengers. All the passengers he used were experienced, but not experienced with him, and it showed you that he could put a passenger on there, gel together with them, and get out there. There's the checkered flag, there's the checkered flag. I know Warwick Dimmicks won't be happy because he got passed by half a wheel, so if Colin Buckley had just backed off that just a little smidgen, then Warwick Dimmicks would have got another lap in, because that is the race done and dusted. Spike Taylor goes through in second spot there, and another lap record for Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter. We're looking out for third place, and it will be Alex McDonald and Adrian Gorse there on the number 14 machine. Here they come along the front straight for